What's up, y'all? Welcome back to 3 Star Draw. I'm down south 77, aka 3 Star Draw, and this here is an adult collector channel. I went down, saw my buddy Jay at Yojo Depot yesterday, picked up the newest wave of G.I. Joe Classified. He's been hanging on to them for me for about 2 weeks now. I just hadn't had a chance to get down there. So now I finally got them, so it's time to hammer out some reviews on these guys. Been looking forward to this wave. I've been looking forward to 3 of the 4 of these guys, and this is the 4th. So the one we're going to look at today is number 176. This is Grim Viper. When I messaged him and asked him to hold these for me, I didn't mention this guy. I was not going to pick him up. But when I got down there, he cracked open a fresh case and set him out for me, and he set him out. And I looked at him, and it's like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get him, because I have friends that get these figures early a lot of times, sometimes, and most everybody seems to enjoy this figure. I was going to pass on it, but once I saw it, I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. He looks cool. Now, I was going to pass because I am kind of cutting back on stuff this upcoming year. Mentioned that, so probably be fewer reviews, and we'll do some other stuff over here. But this was going to be one of the cuts, but when I saw him, I'm like, you know, everybody else seems to like this guy. I'm going to pick him up. I was going to pass on him because he's a straight up kit bash. And he's got parts, a couple of things that I don't really like, which is the Saw Viper vest and the big Gatling gun. It's a good idea in theory, but it just doesn't really work all that well, I don't think. Um, we got it with Roadblock and instead of his 50. I just don't think it works well as a main weapon for a character. It's just me. It's just my opinion. I'm going to give it a fair shot. We're going to look at it. It might be great for this guy, but I just don't really care for that weapon. Anyway, I love skulls. I love skeletons. I really like what they did there with the Range Viper mask, making it actually look like a skull. They kept the brain part of it. So I'm going to give him a fair shot. Maybe I'll like him and I'll get another one. Maybe, who knows? That's been known to happen. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and crack him open, take a look at him, maybe compare him to some of his parts donors, I guess, and we'll give him a fair shot, like I said, see what I think, see what you guys think. Get us a look at the front of the box here on the Grim Viper. There is what that looks like. Go over here to this side, you get his attributes, you get your QR code. He's number 176. Over on the other side, do get our portrait of him holding this minigun. I'm not much on this portrait. I like most of these. There's debate on whether or not these are AI. Most of them, I don't really care if they are because they look pretty good. This one's just kind of meh. But look, he's got the right amount of fingers. Number 176. Then back here on the back, get a look at him walking through this jungle here, stomping in his big black boots, carrying this minigun. I don't know. They've gotten their money's worth out of these jungle dios for the backgrounds here this year. Then on our close up pictures, you do have, as far as I can tell, that is just a picture of the deco for this guy because there's nothing new in that picture. And then up here, so they put some tampos on the minigun. We'll look at that a little closer in a few minutes. Then back here on the bottom, do have your barcode in case you need that barcode to look for this guy in the store. There it is. Got all of his stuff laid out there. I'll say though, before I ever look at anything, I do like the camo on him. It really doesn't translate in the other pictures, in the promo pictures and things of this guy. He's got some good looking deco on him. Just, I've done nothing other than get him out and set him there. So, all right, we're going to look at his stuff like we usually do. Does come with the little black knifed with the slightly curved hilt to it. No paint on this one's like a kind of a K-bar or something. Not very stabby. It's kind of blunt, but I mean that's what we've come to expect with these. Then he does have this much larger knife, much more blunt. It's like a bayonet. Did put the silver on here. He got the paint on the blade. Do these? Let me see. As you can see, I got some of his other his other parts donors out here. So this is the Saw Viper knife on this one, and I am not sure whose the other knife that the paint is from is, but I know we've seen it before. So there's those two. Take a look at the backpack. Here's your Range Viper backpack. So we'll grab this guy. We'll look at them side by side so you can see the differences. The tank, the rebreather tank there is green for this guy, and he does not have the readout down here on the bottom, which seems very weird to exclude that. Right down here, you see Range Viper has it. It seems like they would have put something there. And then the bullets are a different color. They're more of a copper color with Range Viper, and then these are more of a gold, looks like to me. Set old rangy back over there. Aside from that, same backpack. I don't know. I mean, this matches him. I was going to say I kind of like the blue better, but I mean, the blue matches Range Viper and this one matches him, so I don't guess it really makes much difference. Does have this pistol. This is Saw Viper's pistol. Do believe. Yep, same pistol we get with Saw Viper. Because of course it is, because most of this guy seems like it is Saw Viper. Well, I say that. I guess just the overlay and the weapons are Saw Viper. Or this weapon and the knife. I'm getting lost here. Alright, look at this pistol. We've seen it before, clearly. It's okay. It's got the built-in um, suppressor or compensator there on the end. This isn't a bad looking pistol as far as the classified pistols go. Man, why? God, I wish they would paint this stuff. Not super gummy. It's actually pretty rigid. But Saw Viper's weapons, for the most part, are, I don't know, his curved, ridiculous machine gun that he comes with. It's kind of flimsy. Of course, this guy, though, this guy is sporting a saw from Top Fun Retro Toys 3D, so he's got the right idea. But alas, we don't get that with Grim Viper, so it doesn't really matter. We get this. So we see this thing again. I always say I wish they painted the weapons, so there we go. They painted the handle for it brown, triggers brown, and then on one side they give us these flames. Well, so I do like that it's all scratched up though. That's pretty neat. Looks like this thing's been through some wear and tear. Looks like he's been toting it around, and apparently he's killed 18 people with it, or 18 of whatever he was shooting at with it. He hit, and maybe that's not kills. Maybe that was beer cans. It'd be pretty easy to get 18 beer cans with a minigun, I would think, but alas. So barrel does spin. We've seen this thing before. This doesn't seem like it detaches, so I'm not going to pull on it too hard. So that's all the paint that's on there. So that's what we get with this guy. The real draw is, of course, the repaint on this figure. So let's check it out and see how good it is compared to what we've gotten with the parts for this figure. All right, here we go. So the most striking thing is obviously the camo here. And I gotta say, it does look amazing. I really thought this guy was going to give off a super dark, like just dreary, like boring vibe. But this camo's really lively. Nice jungle camo. Get your different colors there, three different color greens. It looks really good. I will say the color palette for this whole figure, overall, I think it looks pretty good. He does have Viper forearm guards, and I think those are Viper hands. Horizontal swivels on the wrists. Let's take a look at the head, of course. I think this is the main draw for this figure for a lot of people, is this Range Viper head done up in the white so it actually looks like a skull, and the gray brain matter on the helmet. It does look really good, I gotta say. So you can see it right there. Don't see any real issues with the paint or anything on it. It looks good. The eyes look really good. This nice, almost like a sunburst in there. Like it looks like the explosion on the old Garrido artwork. It looks like fire, like a fiery I don't know, it just looked like a fire in the guy's eye. So I don't know how else to describe it. You see it. What do you think? Looks really good. Over here, they've hit the bottoms of it with the same brown that's found throughout. It'd been cool if they'd have done some wash and like outline the teeth. It looks like it's got maybe a little on there, but it doesn't stand out just a ton. So I really do like this color scheme for it. So let's look at our first range Viper, and you can kind of see. I mean, the red and the red eyes with the blue mask and the black highlights, it just works so much for this figure. And then you can kind of see what they did on the first range Viper. It's this bottom piece is the same color as the brain helmet, where they didn't do that with this one. Really makes it stand out. You almost don't notice that's a separate piece on the first range Viper, but on this one, it definitely makes it pop and stand out. So I will say, for redesigning this figure, it's pretty sweet. Go down into his vest here, Saw Viper vest. You can see what they did with the color here. Um, they painted the pouches. I would have kind of liked to see them painted on the Saw Viper, but they were all purple on the original, I believe. So I actually think this vest looks better on Grim Viper, just because I don't know, the colors on him ties in better, matches the camo. So you got this dark brown background, straps, and then your mag pouches are black. And then back here in the back, you've got the painted chest plates, armor, whatever, support back here in the back. And then on Range Viper, it is the dark Range Viper Saw Viper. It is the darker purple. So it is separated on Saw Viper as well. But again, I think it works better on this guy. Looks better on him. Go down into the waist piece. Got the brown. I'm guessing this is all one belt piece. And you got this nice green buckle again, matches the green here on the arms, and it's different green than what the pants are. They're a darker olive. Got a pouch here on the right leg. Of course, you got your big knife sheath over here on the left leg. Down into the pants, look really good. I don't know whose legs these are. I know these are reuse legs. Like I said, this guy's kind of a mishmash of a bunch of different figures. And then down, you do have your straps at the bottom to tighten the pants legs, to kind of blouse those. Looks good wearing your jump boot style boots. Let's see what he says on his feet. Made in China in 2025. So overall, I have to say he's a pretty good looking figure. Now I was worried about like the looseness. He's a little wiggly, which not as bad as some, not as tight and as good as others are. I just, with this though, I think it's going to make a difference on posing him. So there he is overall. Nice painted, got his cod piece down there. I guess, when you're throwing this much power, people are going to try to shoot back when they're not ducking for cover, and you don't want to get shot in the dick. So I know I don't. Let's see how he moves. Check out his articulation. Ooh, that left elbow, that upper elbow is really tight. Wow, I'm probably gonna have to actually heat that. I'm not gonna force that, man. Hmm, let's see. Just moving a little bit. All right, that was about as much as I would chance putting on one to get it to break loose and get that joint unfroze. But was able to do it without heating it up and didn't shear any plastic or anything there. That was right at the cusp of the force I'm going to put on something. Um, Inner arms are the brown, so I do like that. You can actually see the veins in there. I know that's probably going to make some people rage. So these were probably heavy duty's arms, I'm guessing, and they just painted them up because you can see the painted vein in there. So I think that's probably whose arms these are. I don't necessarily keep up with all of that, but when it's the overlays and the holsters and things, and you can tell they just reuse that stuff kind of stands out. So there we go. Got him all broken loose. He's picking his armor up or cinching his armor up there. Check out his knees, see how the knees are. Not too bad there. Of course, you got your upper thigh swivel. Does have his boot swivel there. And ankles actually on this guy feel pretty good. He stands pretty good right out of the package. I gotta say, man, I do kind of like him. I was afraid that I was gonna say that because I only bought one. Trying to cut back. All right, let's put his gear on him. Might as well start with the backpack. Now, Range Viper's backpack is not one of the greatest for staying on, but his actually, it looks like maybe they lengthened the peg for the backpack because that one actually goes in pretty nice. I don't I don't feel like it's just gonna fall out. And of course, you do have your hose that's gonna plug into the back of the helmet. Didn't really check his head movement, but I don't expect a lot out of it. Not much up and down. And that's plugged in there pretty good, I think. He looks good with the backpack on. Again, just like Range Viper with the blue tank, he looks good with the green tank. Go ahead and throw one of his knives in his hand. Hands are not um, too hard, too soft. They actually feel like they're about the right amount of rigidity there. And he doesn't have the funky bowed in thumb like some of these figures have. Now, the Range Viper is a wilderness trooper, right? That's what he does. What the hell is this guy? Because he looks a whole lot more like a wilderness trooper than the Range Viper does. I don't understand that. You have your whole dude that's one of people's favorite troop builders, even though he doesn't look anything like a wilderness trooper, and put him out, and then you turn around and you make his main feature into a repaint and paint it camo that is definitely some sort of a wilderness trooper. But this dude is like a heavy support. I look at these guys like they're just some kind of crazy death squad that they send in to absolutely obliterate everything. Like I see them sending these guys in right about the time that they send in the bats. And I'm having a hard time. See his holsters all bent in right there. I don't know if that's showing up on camera. It's making the knife with this very thick point on the blade hard to get in there. But we got it. We got it. So where does okay. It's like, wait, where does this knife go? Never mind the fact that I just looked at it with him. All right, moment of truth. Let's see how he does holding this thing. Let's see what we can do with posing it here. Might as well just go ahead and lay him down for this part. Because the thing about this weapon is you can really only hold it like this. Which, again, he's definitely like some sort of assault viper because that's all you can do with the assault viper weapon. It's pretty much the same thing. It's the same. They're in the same family for sure. So one of them's a lobster and one of them's a crab. So he can actually hold it out pretty straight. I will say that much for it. What do you guys think? Here he is holding that thing. Not too bad overall. I like the presentation of this dude, and this is about as good as it's going to get with this weapon. I just don't like this for a main weapon. Um, he stands pretty well holding it up. You're going to be able to get some pretty good shooting poses with him where he's bracing with it, I think. Not too bad. He actually stands with it pretty well. As I say that, as he just starts getting wobbly and falling over. Of course, I'm not really just going all out trying to do the posing here, so the weight on this thing just kind of makes it awkward, and you really have to kind of angle it right, and eventually he's gonna sag. It's gonna droop sitting on the shelf, and these guys that have loose waists, the heavier their accessories, the heavier their weapons are. As you know, it throws their weight balance off. But I feel like it's not as bad with him as it is on some. He looks better holding this than Saw Viper does holding this. I can tell you that much, in my opinion. I still hate this weapon for the Saw Viper. Look, it's all curvy. Um, So there's Grim Viper. Not a terrible lot to this guy. I'm gonna have to mess around with him some more. I do love the colors. I think he'd almost be better off if you swap his weapons out, which a lot of people do. I don't typically do that, but um, give him some other sort of heavy machine gun. At right ankles, it's a little loose. At right ankles, it's flexing a lot. So you're gonna have to make sure he's nice and planted and centered on the shelf. But it's not hard to do with him. I am impressed with this guy. So what do we think? Did you guys pick this Grim Viper up? I like him more than I thought I was going to. I talked a bunch of crap about him, but I do like him more than I thought I was going to. I think it's mostly because of the color scheme, because it really works. This is a really good looking figure in person, and they did the best they could do with this minigun here. So what am I going to give this guy? I'm going to go with the 3.75 for Grim Viper. It's not terrible, not great. He's not as well done of a repaint as Ghost Viper, but Ghost Viper actually come with some new stuff. So there is my review on him. Let me know, did you guys pick him up? What do you think? You agree with me? Is he a worthy repaint? Think he's an easy pass for some people, but he is a pretty solid troop builder. I may try and track one more down for this guy and have him paired up with Range Viper. I see these guys under the command of somebody like Shadow Tracker or maybe even Copperhead. I know most people think Copperhead probably belongs hanging out with Crocmaster. I can see both of those guys running a squad of these. Anyway, let me know down in the comments, and I will see you guys next time on 3 Star Draw.